So something tragic has happened. One Direction star, Liam Payne, has unfortunately died after falling from his balcony from his hotel room in Buenos Aires. Obviously, this is massive news, not only in the entertainment industry, but worldwide news because of how big and famous he is. So naturally, every media outlet wants to cover it. But TMZ covered it in such a way that was heartbreaking, tragic, possibly illegal, and just ethically all over the place. So let's try and unpack that in what is hopefully going to be an unedited scripted rant and me just reacting to it. So, of course, if you're not aware of what's happened, unfortunately, Liam Payne fell from his balcony from his hotel room in Buenos Aires. Meanwhile, police had been called to the scene over reports of a man acting aggressively in the area. Now, police are still trying to piece together what's actually happened here. It's fair to say there's a lot that's happened, but we're trying to understand it. But in the initial reporting, it was broken by local media outlets in Argentina, and then TMZ got involved. And TMZ are this sort of extreme tabloid outlet who published photos of his dead body. Well, not his actual fully dead body, more like just crops. So props his tattoos, so you could tell there and then it was him. Anyone with knowledge of him and his tattoos and his appearance, they would have known it's him straight off. And ultimately, those photos got completely slammed on social media. Everyone was thinking, what the hell are they thinking of? Heavily criticising them, telling them to take it down. It's disrespectful. All the right things any sane human would be saying at this time. Now, they initially said that they had seen the photos and they are trying to work out, as they can say, identify from the tattoos that it was Liam Payne. And then they changed it soon after the backlash. They removed the photo and they just tweaked the paragraph about who that person was. So what they were doing was telling people this is definitely him, but in possibly the worst way possible of showing his body, which is absolutely horrific. And in this video, I'm trying to unpack why they've done that in a weird way, trying to unpack why a media outlet has decided to use images of a dead body. Now, TMZ, if you're not aware of who they are, they're quite, as I said at the beginning, extreme tabloid journalism entertainment website where for many years they've done a lot of breaking news about any sort of celebrity deaths, celebrity big news, divorces, gossip, a lot of libelous stuff. Some of it's true, some of it isn't, and they covered some big incidents, big events. They've also got a podcast, they've also got a YouTube channel where it's fair to say it's some of the worst people in journalism gathering and basically punching down at people whether or not they deserve it or not. And it's a real horrible cesspool of, I wouldn't call it journalism, I would just call it as just punching down at people and just wondering what do they actually get out of it. So you might know them. They've done some controversial things over the years. They broke the news of Kobe Bryant's death, his daughter, in a helicopter crash a few years ago. They actually published the fact that it was him who died before family members were made aware, and were immediately called out by the local emergency services over their reporting and how it hindered their investigation, especially how they were at that time trying to understand what happened to Kobe Bryant. And they've done other things over the years, stuff with Selena Gomez, anything tragic, they've latched onto it, and it's always been in a very tasteless manner, in a way that you think the tabloids in Britain are bad, but when you go to TMZ, you think this is the worst, unfortunately. So what we're trying to unpack here is, what we got here is as I said, an extreme tabloid journalism website who trade in celebrity news and deaths and tragic events. And what happened here is they most likely got a tip off that Liam Payne's at his hotel. They probably already knew he was there, but they also then found out there's been this incident where he's unfortunately died. Now, they probably would have used local media to sort of understand what's going on. Obviously, local media were the ones to locally break it. what then happened was they probably tried to speak to any source in the area, try to see if there's any paparazzi or anyone who might have photos. Now, in this specific incident, what's probably happened is that they, in a way, somehow found the photo of Liam's body. And this is where the probably most bizarre ethical and editorial decision ever happened, any newsroom around the world, where they obviously had an editorial decision. They had a photo of Liam's body, and I know this is quite difficult to talk about, especially for recent events, but they had this photo of him, and the editor in charge in that newsroom obviously went, we've got this exclusive photo of his body. Can we use it? Let's not use the full thing. No. Let's just use photos of his limbs, his tattoos, so we can identify who he is. Obviously, I'm not going to use it now. But what's happened there is that they've obviously made the editorial decision to not show the whole thing, and then they plaster their thumbnail, the logo over it, so you can't just lift it without trying to get the original file. And they included it within the story, quite high up in the story, from what I saw. And they clicks publish. And why do they do that as well? Maybe it was a case of, obviously, everyone's racing to the story, and TMZ are notoriously quick in getting celebrity news up on their website and breaking stories before anyone else knows, or in one case, like preemptively sharing someone's death even before it's happened. But in this case, I think they were trying to, and I can't believe I'm actually trying to like reason with them and trying to understand their logic, even though it's just what an awful thing they've done. But they wanted this picture up, they wanted this story up, and to show they had something different, something to add to the coverage of Liam Payne. Because if the death wasn't already tragic, and there's already fans and family and friends and close friends and former collaborators all like grieving and trying to come to terms with this sudden passing of a young father who was a young child, I don't know what adding a picture of his dead body adds to it, and why it should be in the public domain. So the consequence of it is, of course, he was removed. But the problem with that is the fact that you put it in the public domain is now that it's now out there, and it only takes one person to save that image to the phone, to their laptop, to whatever, and then distribute it themselves. So now you've got this sad, tragic death, but people are now talking about the fact that there's this body on the internet, which for anyone on this planet, they should have the privacy and respect that for that's never to happen. So for it to happen here is awful, and it's a shame that it's overshadowing this talented young man's death. A man, it's fair to say, entertained millions with One Direction. He had his own solo career and all that, and was clearly a beloved figure. He might have had issues which have been documented in the past, but you know, at the end of the day, this is someone's son, this is a dad, this is a partner, this is a friend. So what TMZ have effectively done is all ruined him of his privacy, robbed him of his privacy. It's just astounding to see this happen. And as a journalist, it's shocking. It shouldn't happen in this industry, yet it happens. Now, I don't know what the libel laws or the sort of media watchdog situation is in the US. I would need to look into that a lot further, but you'll never have this sort of thing in the UK. The only other examples of images of dead people being used are in celebrity journalism. I can only think of when Seattle Times used Kurt Cobain's body from the scene in their coverage, and that was something that really were criticised for at the time. They defended it. Other times have been, obviously, of course, Princess Diana in the tunnel where she had her fatal collision in 1997. So it really is like rare for this to happen, and for TMZ to do it, it's something that they don't usually do, yet they did it, and it's why there's such a furious backlash, and that we thought journalists could be better. Journalists should not be doing this. Journalists should not be, sharing photos of dead people. Unfortunately, we've had this industry across the world has had, you know, multiple issues: phone hacking, censorship, bribery, corruption. But this sort of stuff is just not on, and I hope you can tell I'm just deeply horrified by it. I couldn't believe I saw it when I was scrolling through social media, and now the images are all over social media as well, as you can expect, which is not great. So I'm trying to understand. So I'm trying to unpack it all now, and trying to understand why they did it. I hope you can understand, but don't understand in a way. It's also a tragic incident. Now we're all talking about TMZ and what they're doing and what happens next to them. Well, again, we don't really know. I think they would most likely probably. I'm not sure about US and privacy laws, but I'm sure that the family of Liam could approach and make legal action. Because I know in the UK that, you know, anything like this, you know, we have an IPSO code which would, in this case, would cover, you know, privacy, you know, harassment, intrusion into grief and shock, and all that. That would all be in play, like here, but in the US it's a different kettle of fish, and it's TMZ. TMZ have been doing this for years, just horrendous stuff over the years that they really ought not to get away with anymore. And it's fair to say it's time for people to stand up and just say, let's not do this anymore. This deserves a longer video, but this is just a reaction to what's happened, trying to unpack it, trying to understand it, and what happens next. Yeah, just tragic. Just a sad loss at the end of the day. And it's what's happened is that TMZ have just made it a whole lot worse for the family and his fans, and they're rightly being criticised for it. And even there's been times where, you know, in other newsrooms they've been reporting on crime or deaths, that a body tent might be shown. Obviously that's for privacy, but photographers and reporters will always be behind a cordon and be taking pictures respectfully from a distance just to show the fact there's a police presence. But in the times that, you know, when specific shots are shown, I like to think that editors sort of look at the shots and they're like, is there anything that could identify this person, like house number, or is there anything else that could be really insensitive to share to the public? And of course, their family want to see this out there. And unfortunately, we don't see that with TMZ. TMZ just did their own thing and they just get away with it. And it's just a shame that this sort of thing still happens. The use of paparazzis, intrusion into grief and shock like this, trying to level out celebrities. It's just awful. And I hope something changes after this. And I really hope so. And yeah, I'm not sure there's much else to say. But if you have any thoughts on this at all, please drop them in the comments below. If you like the video, of course, drop me a thumbs up. I'd really be much appreciated. And if you want to watch more of my content, please hit subscribe. Look for my whole channel and you'll see a massive catalogue of videos about journalism, and, you know, understanding news. That's just what I'm trying to do here in this unscripted rant. I've just had a small script on my phone and that was it. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm not sure if that's the right way of saying it, but if you want to watch anything else on my channel, here's something else based on your likes and dislikes, and here's something else about why, you know, news sites are covered in ads and why they're terrible. Take care for now.